And we're back. Gary's back, so we're back. This is going to be fun to edit later on, but here we are. We were waiting on Gary to tell us more about the advantages of owning a VF1. He has told us that to burn for VeeCon, you need wood frames, which is a huge update for us. We know that there's going to be a burn sale for VeeCon tickets. Currently, you can go on the exchange and exchange 13 Book Games tokens. He's saying it's going to be less than that. There's going to be a flash sale this week sometime, and that it will be needing wood frames are important. So he's just come back into the chat. He was talking about, I'm pondering to share the Series 1 benefits, but wanted to ask community if they needed a few more days to buy their Series 1, because after we announced things are going to change in a real way. We sat and waited for him in the last video, and he didn't show up, and now he's back. He did say the burn for new characters will be after the burn for VeeCon ticket sale. So you have to make a big decision. If you're going to burn for tickets, those are going to be gone. Let's see. Is 5 frames for VeeCon tickets or V2? He said maybe both, but there's a lot of details. Also, V2 is only for burning to get a new character, which is a small percentage of V2. So this kind of explains the race theory that you were having, that there's going to be a race because there's a limited quantity of new characters in VF2. So having 5 frames gives you an opportunity to burn for a new character, but there is a limited supply. He's saying a small percentage. So you may be racing against someone else. He's talked about needing to be fast for that. But then you have the friends list that you get a chance to get, I guess, not new characters for Series 2. He says you don't need to burn your Book Games token to be on a friends list. We know that. Here's something, and the reason I came back is something that he said I thought was very interesting. Friends list will be, let me quote this, quote, friends list will be like 26% chance per Book Games NFT. Have 12 book games, you may get 4 to 5 slots on friends list. 26% chance is huge. That means all you need really is 4 tokens to have what would be over 100% chance, much more likely that you're going to get a slot. Interestingly enough, there's 20,000 holders of Book Games tokens, and he said there's going to be more than 25,000 Series 2. So it's possible that every holder could have a shot, although you could go 0 for 1, 0 for 2. You can go for 0 for 10, really, if you had it. So, but 26% chance would say that if I had 10, I would get 2.6 chances, right? I'd get at least 2 if that's correct, if that statistic holds true. Of course, there's exceptions to every rule, and it is a chance. He says, plus there's an open mint after the friends list. If he holds back some, I think there could be an open mint. I've said before, I don't know that that's the case. We'll see. But the friends list spot is non-transferable, right? Question mark. And he said, correct. If you get 5 slots and only mint 2, the 3 will go to the open mint after the friends list. There you go. So that's how it is. It's not something you're going to be able to sell. We thought you might be able to sell your token. You know, they're going to say this token has been selected to allow a friends list spot. We thought you could then sell that token to another person. He's saying the other 3, if you don't mint it, the other 3 will go to open mint after the friends list. That's huge, very big, that thing that we didn't know before. And that gives an opportunity for the public to do that. Of course, Gas Wars will be there. Someone said open, meaning unlimited mint within a certain period of time. He said, no, I'm sorry, public with Gas Wars. More 2 chances at 26%. You may go 2 for 2 or 0 for 2. Yes, that's what we thought. Let's see. After or before burn for new characters? He said before. Is there a reason why some of the tokens are so rare? He said book games are forever. And Gary, you never let us down. He said, I had my whole life to build this company and IP. And he has said many times he's committed to that. If you're paying attention, and he just posted a link to the Book Games floor. Let's see what he said. Don't click links in Discord, by the way. Even when Gary sends it, I get a little nervous. Man, he is hot and heavy today. So he said, if you're paying attention, he said, Book Game's floor is intriguing. So the floor is what it is. I have 6 cases of Empathy Elephant wine. What do I do with it all? Can I burn for V2? I ran out of space in my wine fridges. He said, drink it. Do all the same 5 frames have to be the same spectacular? And does rarity frames matter for V2? For instance, does a rare frame get a better VF2? He said frames only. So he only answered the first part of that question. Do the same 5 frames have to be the same spectacular? He said frames only. So he didn't answer the second part, which again, I think is the frames match up to the characters. He said VF1 holders will be the biggest winners in V2. I think they'll be very happy about that. And then plans for Shrewd Sheep. All characters will be focused on over the next 40 years. So you're getting the latest information. Let me check. Do I think rarity matters in frames for more rare V2? Yes, I do, Jerry. So he said, somebody asked, does the background matter? He just said, no, frames only. And then they asked as well, just what you asked, and he didn't answer that question. So I think the frames match up. If you're burning rare frames, you should get a rare character, in my opinion. Gary V, sell a paper hand pony Book Games to get VeeCon or hold it? Personal choice on this one, he said. Be interesting if somebody said that, or burn it to get sell it to get a VF1. He'd probably say VF1. All right, so it's 3:12. Gary's in here. He's chatting. He's doing his thing. Sorry, I know I cut off the last stream. I guess I just cut it off 3 minutes early. All right, and then he came back. Must have been a bathroom break. Who knows? So, 5 frames for the burn. If you're going to burn for a new character, the new characters are a small percentage of VF2, which is greater than 25,000 tokens in the collection. Small percentage, let's say it's 10%. That means 2,500. How many wallets have more than 25? How many different wallets are there that have sets of 5? Right? Probably more than 2,500 wallets have sets of 5. So this is where the race comes in. I'm guessing at the 2,500, that's 10%. I'm just guessing. But, and that's only if the collection is 25. It could be 50. And then 10% would be 5,000, maybe 1%. So there's only 500. So it's you need the 5 frames. The backgrounds don't matter. You're going to burn them. We still don't know how they match up to the new characters. The burn happens before it goes to the raffle. The raffle, if you don't mint your raffles, so let's say you get selected for whitelist, you get selected 5 times, and you only mint 2 of those, the other 3 go to the public mint. So Gary just tweeted out, come hang in the Discord, meaning he's about to tell us something, I would think. I wonder if he does this all on his phone or if he does it on his laptop. I'm going to guess it's on his phone, but maybe not. What do I think Pearl V2 is going to be? I don't know. You know, obviously in VF1 it would match up to the Oyster, but I don't know what it could be for V2. I really don't. I think it'll be something rare. It's the 3rd most rare frame that's out there. All right, so Gary sent out a call for people to join the Discord. That's us. We're here. We're ready. And we're waiting to see what he's going to say about VF1. I think he has some information to share. He's been in Discord all day, talking a lot. Hit me with your questions while we've got a lull. He's probably taking a sip of some empathy wine before he lays it on us. He is answering a lot of questions. Throw your questions in there. So again, and I'll say this in every video until it happens, there are 2 paths to get to, well, maybe 3, but 2 main ones with Book Games tokens to get your VF2. You can burn. We know that the burn is frames. You need 5 of the same frames. The attribute and the background do not matter. The rarity, we think, only matters in relationship to which new character you're burning for. He still hasn't revealed that. He did say for Fearless Fairy that you better have fur frames. So that is what leads us to believe that the frames matter and match up to characters. Why didn't he say you better have black frames if frames rarity doesn't matter? So it seems like that it does matter, and that matches up. If you burn those tokens are gone. You do not get to use those for your whitelist spot. The raffle that occurs, the friends list occurs after that burn, and you have the opportunity to mint. He's saying there's a 26% chance per token to be selected for a whitelist. So a 1 in 4 chance, basically. If you have 4 tokens, it would stand to reason with that math, you would get 1 whitelist spot. Let's say you get 2. If you mint both of those, good for you. On the whitelist, it'll cost you $1,000 in ETH each. But if you don't mint those, let's say you mint one and don't mint the other one, you can't sell that or transfer it. It will go to the public mint. The public mint will have serious gas wars. The reason the friends list mint does not is because you get 12.5 days with which to mint. So hopefully you can find a time at night where gas is low. Gary's answer on utility for VF2 seems contradictory. You think new characters will have utility only? Maybe. That's a good way to look at it. Maybe the new characters are the only ones, and that's a small percentage, and then that would keep him consistent. But then also remember, he can change it at any time. He can say it has this utility and nothing else, and then he can add more to it. He said that publicly. So it's up to him what he wants to do. Typically, he adds more. I haven't heard him say anything about taking any away. He's trying consistently to add more value and more utility, and has been preaching utility lately over collectibility. All right, so we've got a lull here. It's been 6 minutes. The last time it was about 12 or 15 before he announced. But we'll see what he says. Thanks for jumping in. We're on Gary Watch. He's supposed to release some more information about the value that VF1 holders will receive from VeeFriends Series 2. A lot of people are asking the same questions, other folks answering them in the chat. I'm looking to buy 5 of the same frame. What would you say is the frame to go for? It's a good question. So we know it's going to be a race. There's a limited supply of VF2s, new characters. There's a limited supply. So the total supply is going to be greater than 25,000. And the new characters are going to be a subset of that. So the theory that I have is that it's going to, your frame, whatever rarity frame you match up to, is going to match up to one of the new characters. 15 frames, 15 characters. It makes sense. He already announced that the Fearless Fairy should have fur frames. He said, you better have fur frames. So that lends to that theory. So in that case, if you want a more rare VF2 with a possible less of a race, there's probably less of them, but there's also less people who hold 5 of the same rare frames. That might be the way to go. If you want to race with everybody else but can get something a little cheaper, you can go for the wood, the clear, the silvers down at the bottom of the rarity scale. And that might give you a shot, but it's going to be a race either way because there is a limited supply. So Gary has paused. However, he is still here. He's still in the chat. Just waiting to see what he's going to announce. You know how it goes. As soon as I close down, he's going to come back and announce again. It's funny. Didn't I just leave? I did just leave. I don't have a twin. It's funny indeed. Thanks for coming back, though. I told you I'd come back if he started announcing again, but sometimes he goes quiet and then he's gone for hours. And as much as I do enjoy sitting here, this is not my full-time job, and I can't sit here as often as I'd like. So the reason we are sitting here is because he made the statement, I'm pondering to share the Series 1 benefits, but wanted to ask the community if they needed a few more days to buy their Series 1, because after the announcement, the floor is really going to change. So we think that he's going to announce something specific about the value of V2 to V1 holders. There's also going to be a VeeCon burn sale coming up, tickets for a burn sale. this week. And then he talked about doing a book games giveaway on Sunday in the chat. So be a part of the Discord. You have an opportunity to get some book games for free, possibly. Be interested to see what the criteria for that is. I'm going to check the floor very quickly while I'm sitting here. That's all right. So it's at, that's for wood frames. Let's see, for all frames. The floor currently is at, wow, 0.24725. And let's see, let's do a little trick about making it go to 100 and see if that cleans up the jumping problem it did. Yep, so there's quite a few tokens at 0.24 and also plenty at 0.25, but that is pretty high. So let's do a quick count here. 14. There's 14 tokens that I see. Wait, oh, give me a glitch again. All right, here we go. Let's try again. 14, not even 14. Wow. So there's four. There's 4 tokens that are below 0.25. So this is wild. Stuff is going fast. Lots of buys happening. All right. Gary's gone quiet again. Yep, other people in the chat answering questions for people. What do I think? Buying pearl or emerald frames at the floor price? So let's check that very quickly. I appreciate the question. So if I look at pearl and fur, obviously fur is going to be cheaper. You said emerald. That's right. So actually there is 3 pearl frames that are cheaper than emerald, and we know that pearl is more rare than emerald. So to me, that seems like a no-brainer. He has talked about pearl. He has talked about emerald. So up to you on that. Right now, there's on the same line, there's 4 pearl frames on the top line and 3 emerald frames. So the prices are relatively neck and neck, which should not be the case in my opinion. There's definitely more emerald frames than there are pearl frames by about 20% more of total in existence. So I just think that's interesting that those would be about the same price. So if you wanted to snag a higher rarity for the same price, it seems like pearl makes the most sense. Daniel, I've got most of my wood frames. I actually am waiting to sell a token before I can finish up and get the other ones. So we'll see. And I'm hoping it's only 5, because if it's more than 5, I may just have to wait until somebody decides to part with theirs, right? Otherwise, I'll have to sell some more and try to figure it out. So I'm working on it. All right, it has been 13 minutes. That's about the same stretch of time that he put between the last piece of information. That was 23 minutes. Gary, why are you doing this to us? Leaving us in suspense. Do you think he's watching this live stream and then it's like, hey, let's wait till Ben stops? Okay. That's funny. All right. What do you think is going to be the floor for V2? I have no idea. Certainly the new characters is going to be higher than the rest of the collection. Again, he said it's going to be a small percent. The new special characters will be a small percentage of the entire collection, probably in a similar way that Ogre, Qual, and Pony are for book games. So their floor will be dramatically higher, but I can imagine the floor, depending on the size of the collection, if it's around 25 or 50 even, I don't know. And it also depends on what happens with VF1, if VF1 is going to be happy with it and how that works. So there's a lot of unknowns that'll play into that floor price, but the market will decide what that could be. I'm hopeful it'll be, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, maybe. Probably not as high as VF1, but I think whatever he announces for VF2, all this hype for book games in VF2 is going to drive VF1 higher. I expect VF1 to probably go to 20 here in the next month or two. Do we have a better chance for the new characters with more than 5 of the same frame? No, I don't think so. I think it's 5. It's a matter of speed at that point. So I don't think you're going to get a better chance. Although if you have something that's more rare, a more rare frame, there's less people competing with you. Although there may be less characters available at that level, so maybe it evens out in that way. All right, Gary, come on, man. You know how it's going to work. Hope I answered your question about Pearl and Emerald. It's pretty interesting to see those floors being the same. Let's see what Rainbow's at the same time. So Rainbow's obviously a lot cheaper, but it's, you know, it's double the amount of Rainbow frames than there are Pearl, so that makes sense. Someone asked, did Gary just confirm that the burn will happen after the friends list? I think that's a misreading of what he said before. That's after the VeeCon burn. At least over 1 though, right? So those who meant and look for a flip should be there. Yeah, Jerry, I think it will be probably over 1. So if you get the friends list, let's say you bought a Book Games token. Let's say you got one for 0.25, you know, 0.3 of what the floor is right now. ETH is already pushing close to $3,000, although it's down today. So 0.3 would get you $1,000 of ETH. So 0.3 for the book game, 0.3 for the $1,000 worth of ETH. That means you only paid 0.6 for it, right? So it's possible that, you know, you flip it for anything. I mean, neons are going for 0.6 right now. Certainly if VF2, this new collection with all this hype and utility for VF1, or I think there are a lot of factors that are going to make it higher. But I think 1 is probably even too low. It depends on the collection size. If he comes out with a 500,000 piece collection, then no, but I don't think it'll be that high. What does Gary mean about utility collectibility is as NFTs involves projects are understanding that people don't just want art, they want NFT that brings connectivity to other systems, programs. Yes, that's right, Antonio. Appreciate you joining, man. So Gary has said right now it's, you know, collectability with a hint of utility. In the future, it's utility with a hint of collectability. I completely agree with that. All right, Gary's back. We waited. We almost lost him, but we got him back. Let's go. So someone said, thoughts on Tripster's NFT? No idea what's that. Gary, stop playing. Nobody wants to know about that. Tell us about VF1. How's he going to answer that question? That's so funny. He said it before that people say, well, how do folks get in touch with you? He said it's completely random. He just sometimes looks at an email and he's interested and he clicks it. But there's just completely random. He answered my question, but not the way I asked it. Tell us about VF1. He said it's the best. Tell us how VF2 impacts VF1. Come on, Gary. That's funny that he would answer that. Silly. All right. Can you include mini drops in the VF2 equation? I got wrecked. Appreciate you, my man. He said, what do you mean wrecked? I don't know. What do you mean by that? Panda. That's funny. So he's responding to various things, but he's not really giving us anything we can use. He knows we're all sitting here waiting too, right? Thoughts on marble frames? I have marble frames. I like marble frames. He said, especially when you have marble foundations. So he has called out marble frames before. I think it'll match up to a new character and probably something that's being overlooked right now. Come back. Let's go back to the chat. He said, short-term floor prices, thought I could flip into VF1 with other moves. And Gary said, I'm so sorry. Okay. No, Gary's Antonio answering questions. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Warren. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. We're on Gary Watch. He's dropping information. I'm trying to get it to you quick. That's all I can do. It'd take me forever to edit and clip all this together and do all that. So that's what you get with these lives and all that. Let's see. Somebody said, any idea what the big benefits for VF1 holders Gary keep hinting at? Chris, we're begging him for it. I said, tell us about VF1. He said, it's the best. That is not what I meant. I meant tell us how VF2 affects VF1. So I clarified. Let's see if he responds. He hasn't. I don't know. People have speculated maybe there's a royalty built into it. I don't think so. I think I really don't know what it could be. You guys have thoughts on what you think that value could be? I had said, what if he did something along the lines of what Bored Ape has done, where you get a serum and you can mutate your ape and it changes your VF1 somehow. Maybe not. I think Gary is changing the game. He's not really big on copying people. So, just complete wild guesses. These are the kind of things that we throw out. What could be the next new thing? I posted on my Twitter how there was a new NFT project or maybe an existing one doing a new thing, but they're kind of copying the exchange, the Book Games Exchange. And they admitted that, like they're not claiming it as their own, but they're saying that they're going to offer values and ways to exchange. It's kind of a workaround from being considered a security by the SEC. But I thought it was really cool that the things that we're doing here with book games are impacting the larger NFT community, obviously. Yeah, I just don't know. Royalty would be a big deal, right? He's making 5.5% per book game trade. So, I mean, that's a pretty penny, but maybe he does a carve out. Can you imagine? What would the floor of VF1 be if you were getting royalties on VF2? 100, 200? Like that's never been done. And I think one thing too, Gary has said on his videos is that he's not even sure if that's legal yet. Right? This is a brand new technology, and and there's not as much kind of regulation around it yet. And so I don't know if he's confident that he can get away with that yet, but he has thought about it. He's certainly thought about having VF1 holders be business partners with him in the future, maybe owning the jets with him one day. So maybe that could be the case, but I don't think the legislation has changed enough recently for him to add that in right now. Yeah. So let's see, anything new? So nope, got a 3-minute lull. He comes in, he steps away. Can you imagine how many people are requesting this man's time and how he even has the ability to sit in here and answer these questions? It's kind of wild to think about. Checking the floor again. All right. Yep. So now we've got 5 emeralds up top. So, or excuse me, pearls. So pearl would be the play right now on that if you're looking between those two. The floor is actually 1 left, and I think that 1 is actually a ghost. So the floor is at 0.25. The wood floor is even more than that. The wood floor is at 0.28. So if you want to get you a wood, you better get it quick. Let's see, a bunch of galaxies. There's 3 galaxies. Wait, that was a glitch. Token Trove needs to get their act together, but there are 3. I do see 3 galaxies for 0.4. So even if galaxies are running 0.4, you can get a pearl for 0.47. Probably should stick with the pearl, in my opinion. Let's see. Just checking all my sources. Let me check Twitter and Instagram. Sometimes he goes there first. I have my notifications turned on, as you should. Turn your notification bell on for this channel. That way, when things like this happen, you'll know and you'll be able to get in. So nothing on Twitter. Let's see on Instagram. Nope, just some videos. And then VeeFriends has posted on Instagram what Gary said this morning at 10:48, just told a good friend, you remember how you regret not getting Series 1. When you see what happens in Series 2 for Series 1 holders, you're going to regret it again. The cat's out of the bag. The time is now. All right, let's see. Trying to see if I missed anything. Don't think so. You know how it goes, guys. As soon as I set this down, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Chris. I don't know all the legalities about that. So it'll be interesting. I think he wants it to happen, so maybe he can help it happen. 7 book games tokens, 2 rainbow frames, and a neon, 2 black frames, and a silver. That's a lot. That's pretty cool. I really hope to get on the list. Gary Galax, it looks like you could get on the friends list because he said there's 26% chance at 7 book games tokens. What does that give you? 140 and then 42 is 182% chance. There you go. You got it. So you should, according to his math, be able to get at least one with a, 80, what is that? What did I say? 82% after that chance of getting a second one. So do you think sell book games tokens to get more VF1 is a better idea? Gary said, Robert, VF1 is the holy grail according to Gary, and it is what we are all trying to get to. If you have the opportunity to get that, I think a lot of people would encourage you to do so. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Let's see what else we got here. Do you have 5 rainbow frames? I do not have 5 rainbow frames. Kyle, go get them if you want to. Do you think the only frames matter, or if you have 5 same frames with same background? So he's already said that, Jack. He just said that today. The backgrounds and the attributes do not matter. It's the frames. You've got to have 5 of the same frames. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys very much for always joining in and being collaborative. Listen, I'm learning like you are, and you guys have great ideas that I've probably never even thought of. So the more we interact, I think the better off we're going to be, and the more information we have, the better decision we can make, right? So happy to do this. I prefer to have more structured videos on my stuff, but there's just not time for that. This is very time sensitive. So I think my structured videos probably need to move more toward how to use a ledger, how to buy a book games token. I do have a step-by-step video on that you can see out there. But this stuff is so time sensitive. It's hard to make a video and edit it fast enough to get it out there to where it still has value for you. I think after VeeCon, things are still going to heat up. He's going to drop info at VeeCon that I hope to be there for and catch and deliver to you. But I think maybe we'll see a little bit of a slowdown in the summer where we'll be able to have a little more structure in the way this is going to work. You don't have a VF1 or the book tokens. Will we be able to get a Series 2 under 1,000? ID shed, you've got to have book games token. So to get on the friends list for under 1,000 to mint, you're going to need to get a book games token. Right now, the floor is about 0.24, which is just under $1,000 in Ethereum. If you get selected, right, there's going to be a raffle. You have a 26% chance per token to be selected in that raffle. So 4 tokens would statistically guarantee you a spot to mint. Then it will be $1,000. You would still have your tokens. You could turn around and sell them, so you could get that money back, but you would then have a chance to mint a VF2. Or you could buy 5 tokens with the same frame, and you could burn those tokens and not have to pay $1,000. So you'd probably pay a little more than $1,000 for those tokens now. Some people were able to get them for a lot less, but you would probably pay more for that now. And then you could burn those if you're lucky enough and you're fast, because it's a race, there's a limited supply, and you wouldn't have to pay that $1,000. But book games token is the key. You need tokens. Hope we get to meet you at VeeCon. Yeah, Chris, I hope so too. Listen, if I do get a ticket, I'll let everybody know. Would love to meet everybody and chat and hang out. That'd be fantastic. So I'll let you know. I'm hopeful. Need that burn sale to happen. And let's see what goes. We'll know our raffle status before we have to burn frames for VF2. Where'd you hear that, Scott? I want to, if you could point me to that, I don't know that I read it that way, but I would love to hear you say that. I think the way I read it was you would burn after the VeeCon sale. So he said burn for new characters will be after burn for VeeCon ticket sale, not necessarily after the raffle. So I don't know that that's the case. I think what's going to happen is if you burn for your new characters, those tokens are gone and you're not selected for the raffle. If you saw something different, let me know. I do not mind being wrong. I just want to get you guys the best information. I have no stake in trying to be the guy that's right all the time. I do want to be right for all of us, but correct me, please. Gary posted before. Okay, thanks. I will. So after or before burn for new characters, he said before, but I don't know where he was. Maybe that was in relationship to the conversation someone was having about. So let me read it. Let me read this to you guys and you tell me how it works. So he made a statement, more 2 chances at 26%. You may go 2 for 2 or 0 for 2. He's talking about the whitelist. He had said previously there's an open mint after the friends list. Person said there won't be anything left after the friends list mint. I agree. So he said, oh, okay. So he said friends list will be like 26% chance per book games NFT. Have 12 book games, you may get 4 to 5 slots on friend list. He said after or before the burn for new characters. He said before. So it does seem like what you said is correct, that the friends list chance will be announced, the slots will be announced before the burn for new characters. This is why you got to stick around. Those other people that left already, they're going to miss this. Thank you for correcting that, Scott. So it does seem like you'll get to see your friends list spots before you burn. If that's the case, that changes a lot because you can decide then to mint. I'm just interested in the mechanics because if you can mint characters and pay the 1,000 before, let's say I get 2 slots and I want to mint those 2 slots, then I can turn around and burn for an additional, let's say I only have 5 of the same frame, burn for a third, but it's a special character. That one's a special character. That is huge if that's the case. So Kyle, that's the question we're trying to answer. So it sounds like you will know whether you will get to be on the whitelist before you have to choose to burn for new characters. So if that's true, you're going to have whitelist spots announced 26%. 8 tokens would presumably get you 2 slots, although you could go 0 for 2, as Gary has said. And then you should be able to turn that around and decide whether you want to burn for a new character with your 5 matching frames. Backgrounds and attributes don't matter. 5 matching frames is what matters. So let's say you have 5 tokens. All the frames match. You want to burn for new character. You go to the whitelist to the friends list selection process raffle, as he's called it. 2 of those get selected to raffle. You can mint your characters. Now, someone had asked previously about those being transferable. No, you can't transfer them. If you get your mint slots and you only mint one of those 2, the other one goes to the public mint. We had thought maybe, I think somebody had asked, and I want to check this in just a minute, that could you then sell that token? So let's say your token is the one selected because you have 5. He says, okay, this one is the one that got you the friends list. Can I then sell that on Token Trove? And I think the answer to that was no. So I don't know if you would be able to use that for a burn either. That's something that we need to hear very clearly from him. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, put it in the chat and let me know. But I'm trying to be clear about the concern here. 5 tokens, 1 gets selected. These are your 5 frames for your burn. But if this one's selected, can you use that for your burn? I don't know. I would assume you would, but I think I saw somewhere where people had said, hey, can I sell this? This one was selected. Can I sell it? You know, because obviously it has value. And I think the answer to that, it wasn't a hard no. There was an answer to it, but I think it came out to be no. So somebody correct me on that. See what you can find. Jerry, what book games do I have? I always tout my humility gold neon because that is the most rare one I have. It's a 1 of 17. Pretty excited about that. But I have a bunch more as of today because I bought some wood frames. Um, I've got some pearls, some marble. I got a little bit of everything, really. Definitely not a whale. Probably spent all the money I feel comfortable spending on these. So I'm hopeful that the prices, not the prices of the tokens, but the price of a VeeCon ticket doesn't go up. Right? Let's keep it where it's at, and we can hopefully get one. All right, checking in on Gary. It's 3:47. He hasn't said anything in 16 minutes. I'm gonna have to go. I've just been doing this for a few hours here, and I need to go and do this. We've got other things going on this evening. So thank you guys for sticking around with me. Gary obviously hasn't told us what we were waiting on, but he did tell us some great stuff. So this wasn't terrible to have this right now. Thank you for joining me. Again, if he comes in dropping hot and heavy, I'll come right back as best I can. But I've got to try to get some of these other things done. So we'll see you guys soon. Stick around Discord, stay on Twitter, and follow me, and we'll keep going as we go. Okay. Web3 is future, but games forever. Thanks, guys. See ya.